rebuilding confidence, and harmonizing with nature. With over 4 decades of changing lives, your self-discovery archaeologist, get ready to be the best of you with your host, Beverly Zeimet.
And welcome to the Beverly Zeimet Show, where being that best you that you can be is just getting easier. My guest today is Katherine Tatsuda, and she's calling in from Ketchikan, Alaska. Welcome,
Hello.
welcome.
Thank you.
So
I'm very excited to be here.
we're excited to have you, right? We really are. I tell you, I've had some most beautiful guests on that just keep getting better and better and better,
Yay!
you know, and it's like, wow. I tell you, I get the honors to listen to every one of you because, you know, because I'm here, because I'm the host,
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I looked up your show last night and I was like, gosh, she's had all sorts of guests on. How exciting.
I tell
Good for
you,
you.
they've been from all over the world, which is really
Yeah.
nice. All different kind of subjects, you know, from one extreme to the other, and
Right.
it's just to help our audience here to open their minds up to different
Mm-hmm.
perspectives and different things, you know, things maybe they heard a little bit about or nothing about, but it's like it's like this library of information and
Yeah.
different perspectives. It's just, I love it, and it's all upbeat. So the theme, of course, is being that best you that you can be. And
Okay.
what is everybody doing that's going to do that? And you know what? If you guys can kind of see what's behind Katherine here, it looks like a store. She jumps on this morning, right? And I said, "Where are you?" And she goes, "Well, this is a storefront." I said, "Oh, phew, at least my eyes
Yeah.
weren't deceiving me." You know, it's like,
That's right.
what's she doing in this store? So tell everybody what you're doing in this store.
Okay, well, so I have a kind of a unique story for sure, but I own a supermarket, and it is my family has been in business in Ketchikan, Alaska, with a grocery store for 104 years.
Oh, I just got chills
Yeah.
on that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so I am the 4th generation of my family to own and to operate this supermarket that we have on this little tiny island in Alaska. And my family I have such an incredible history. My family has incredibly deep roots in the community with just always having a presence of generosity and kindness of love and commitment to the community over the years. And we've been through a tremendous amount of struggles and all sorts of things
Right.
that, you know, any business owner can identify with, because being in business is not easy by any means whatsoever. And so my store was about 10,000 square feet. We had 20 employees, and my dad and I worked together to run the store. And then on February 27th of 2020, not too long ago, about a little over 5 weeks ago, right before the coronavirus hit the United States pretty
Right.
hard, there was a massive landslide that
Wow.
came down, and it destroyed much of our supermarket and our building. Thankfully, it happened in the middle of the night where we didn't have any customers and we didn't have any of our team members inside, because had it happened during the daytime when store hours, we would have had fatalities and
Right.
I mean, it would have just been a tragic situation. So, but it did. It put us out of business the way that we had been operating. And it was a humongous shock to, obviously, to my system, to my dad, to our whole team, and
Sure.
also the entire community, because we've had people who have been shopping with us for generations. And it's just part of their daily life. And what my focus was, you know, we take care of people and we create
Right.
better everyday lives for people. And that's what we did. We were that, you know, third home for our customers, where they could come and they were welcome, and they you know, they just being in my store made their lives better. And same with the people who work for us, same with our team members. And so to have this happen has been a tremendous hardship, as well as a, oh, I'm ringing.
That's good.
I know, hey. But and so the wonderful thing though about there's been so many silver linings, but one of them has been the generosity and the support of the community that has happened. And one of those was the owners of our local mall reached out to us within the first few days of the landslide happening, and they said, we have a storefront that we would like to donate to you for, however long you need to use it for. If you just need office space to do administrative work out of, or if you need to actually sell product, you're welcome to do that, and we won't charge you anything for that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's we've experienced, generosity and kindness from people all around the community in different types of ways, and cash donations as well as offerings to assist with, different things that have to happen. And this one has been tremendous for us. So we moved into this storefront that I'm sitting in talking to you with the intention of not selling anything. We were just going to have our office space here and do that. And, and just do administrative work out of it. And then all of a sudden there was a toilet paper shortage across the United States.
Yeah,
and that
hit,
yeah, and that hit Alaska. That hit my little tiny island. And, we have a Walmart, and we have a Safeway, and we also have another larger independently owned supermarket here on this island that I live on. So there's many places to be able to buy that, but there was nowhere to get it in town. But I happened to have a store that was not safe to enter so I couldn't sell anything out of.
right.
But we were able to bring our toilet paper and our paper towels and everything to this storefront in the mall, and we sold it there. And then after that, there was a need for canned goods, and there was need for thermometers, and there was need for Lysol and Clorox wipes, and we just happened to have those products.
Imagine that.
Right? I know, yeah. So we've set up a little store inside of this space, and it's, and so we're selling products out of it. Of course, then 2 weeks, well, maybe a week and a half after we opened the little storefront up, then our mall closed to the public because of the coronavirus. So then we had to get pretty creative with how we continued to be of service to the community and continue to sell. So we utilized social media. I took a bunch of pictures and posted them on the internet. I did a video tour around the store so people could see the products that we had, and we offer, curbside pickup and delivery, and just with that focus of serving our community, because we see that there's a need.
Right.
And we have 104 years of being committed to doing that and filling that need. So we're still doing it.
That is such a beautiful story for several reasons, right? I mean, when you look at what's been going on through 4 generations for 104 years, and that reputation follows you. And this is something I think we can all learn, in business and in personal life. It's what you project out that projects back. So all of a sudden here you were in a devastating situation, and the community that supported you, that you supported, your family supported for 104 years, said, wow, here we are. You've always been here for us. Now let us be here for you. That is so inspiring and so beautiful to know that people are still in that mindset, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then getting creative. Who would ever thought we'd be in a situation like this? So being able to keep an open mind, because businesses are going down, right? And you could have been one of them. Yet you got creative, you found a need, you filled it, and you are continuing to fill it. And that's going to make a huge difference, not only to the customers that you've always had, but even to other, newer customers who maybe were aware of you over there, but it was more
Right.
convenient because I lived over here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We've
You know,
experienced that quite a bit for sure. Well,
yeah.
and also to show that for me, it's been a lot of like to be kind of a source of light and inspiration as we're going through these hard
Yes.
times. Like if, because to have our entire livelihoods basically put on the line, and we just didn't know what was going to happen, but we still showed up every day and were committed to taking care of people. And we were on Facebook and we were talking to people and we were showing our vulnerable side, but we were also showing that we had faith in the future and gratitude for all of the love and the support, and then also love for all of them, which has been a really powerful experience for
Oh,
me, and then also for
yes. Yeah,
yeah,
for the
yeah, the
community.
people that we're able to be in touch with. Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
and there's something that you just said here, that you gave the support back to the community and say, "Hey, we are here. We didn't forget about you. We're here." Right?
right.
And being consistent and showing up no matter
Hmm.
what, you showed up. And
Yeah,
that's something everyone can learn, in business, whether you are the owner of the business or whether you're an employee. And another thing that you said early on in this conversation, you didn't refer to the people that was working with you, or for you, as just employees. You
right.
called them your team.
Yeah,
And that shows so much respect for them because it does take a team, and I think we lose a lot of that. We've lost a lot of it over the years because people have become a number,
hmm,
in a business. They've just become a number, right? And you
hmm,
become a paycheck. And it's like, wow, where have we lost that team spirit and working together? And I think moving back into the family unit now, where we've been forced into quarantine or whatever, is to also reunite that family that has also been separated, right?
right.
To bring
Yeah,
that back into a team, because to have communication and respect in the home environment, it has to be a team. It has to be a team. And
absolutely,
it
absolutely.
yeah, that just warms my heart. So, you guys out
Yay.
there listening, pay attention to what this lady is saying here. This beautiful spirit. I mean, look at this. Here she gets, she gets blasted by a mudslide. Are you kidding me? Right?
Yeah,
And then she's picking up the pieces and say, "Hey, we're here. We're here. We're gonna be here every day. Whatever we can do, right?" And she turned
absolutely.
a broken situation where most people would just give up and have a sellout, or chalk it up to whatever and write it off. She says, "No, no, I'm not giving up on 104 years of family. Are you kidding me?" And she
Right.
found a way, and her community reached back. Why? Because her family has been an impact in that community, and generationals, you know,
Hmm.
generational. So, which is really awesome because those stories pass on, right? And
Yes,
you're
yes.
probably hearing really interesting stories now that you
It's
probably hadn't heard before.
Yeah, I just, yeah, there's stories that I know about, and there's stories of kindness and generosity that my great grandparents, that I heard of my great grandparents, because they were immigrants from Japan and they were forced to live in a specific area of town with the native Alaskans who lived, or
Right?
the Native Americans. So they were forced, they lived in Indian town, and nobody else during that time in the late 19, I guess the store was started in 1916, and so during the 1920s and the 1930s and the 1940s, nobody would extend credit to any of the natives, and my family would do that. And then they would also, if they knew there was a family that was hurting, I have stories. People have told me that my great grandfather and great grandmother would actually put cash in people's grocery bags, because they knew that they
Oh,
were in
wow.
need and that their family needed it. And they were just the generosity of that, as well as in my grandfather and my father. And so yeah, really.
Oh,
I have some big
that's
shoes to fill.
oh, that is just so heartwarming, and
Yeah.
it's great, and that's why this business has lasted for 104 years, and why the
Hmm.
community stepped up to the plate, because they were there when they needed assistance, and now
Right.
you've got the community here when you needed assistance, and look what you're doing. Look what your creative mind has done and given you the opportunity to think out of the box rather than giving up. It's like,
Right.
wow, what can I do to keep this legacy moving? Because as you just said, I got some big shoes to fill here.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting thing because so I'm in I work with my dad, and he and I have been, doing this together. He's been in his comfort zone of, stocking some
Oh,
aisles and
yeah.
ordering groceries. He's been in that comfort zone probably for like 10 years, and I've been running the whole show and doing everything. And but this landslide, this tragedy that's happened is really, and how we have both responded to it is very
Sure.
interesting to me, because I just was like, well, there's no way we're going bankrupt. We have in 2015, we completely remodeled our store. We invested $2.7 million into our store, and we had a brand new store with brand new equipment. It was gorgeous and wonderful. And we still owe a little over $2 million on that loan that we took out. So we're facing,
Right.
on top of the money, all the debt that we owe just to our vendors for goods that we had gotten in but we hadn't paid for yet, to have an abrupt stop in cash flow um, is frightening. And I said, okay, how can we keep our cash flow going? And I had all these great ideas, and my dad was crippled in a lot of ways by it, though, because he saw it as an insurmountable debt,
Right.
as like there was nothing that we could do to be able to do that. And we had some conflict, and we had because it was really, he was so stuck in that mindset of there's no way that we can get past that. And I was believing that we absolutely could, and I was going to do the work that had to be done.
Right.
And that's the thing, is like we get to choose our mindset about stuff. We get to choose what we believe in, and where we pour our focus, that's where our energy is going to go. You
Exactly.
know?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. And so had I just been worried about not going bankrupt and doing all of that, I mean, that's probably where we would have ended up, is
Right.
bankrupt.
Right.
Yeah. And yeah, we're fighting. We're here.
Yeah. And that's good. And that's the spirit. That's the spirit
Hmm.
that your dad and your mom and your grandparents put in you, right?
Right.
And so you said, "No, dad. We are going to come out of this and we're going to come out on top," right?
That's
And again,
right. Yeah.
you have to look at the era where he grew up in was not technology,
No.
right? And so it's thinking out of the box, right? And so here you are coming into the techie world. You probably don't know everything about it, but I'm sure you're learning a whole lot more here
Absolutely.
really fast.
Right.
Yeah. So, hey, comment below out here. Comment below. How does your heart feel when you hear a story like this? What does this give you, you know, to do yourself? Does this give you inspiration? Does this give you admiration? Wow, what can we be so grateful for where we think we're in this little poor little me thing? Listen to this lady's story here. What a beautiful story, right? Right? Catherine, my gosh, that is so inspiring. So take what she has said and incorporate that into your world. What can you do to make it a better place for you and everyone else in your community? Because it's time to really step up to the plate and be that team player in your home, in your business, in your community. And wow, what better place to learn it than right here from Catherine today? So comment below. What did this do to you? Did it get some wheels turning? Did it give you some opportunities to think out of the box and maybe say, hey, yeah, I'm not ready to give up yet. I got some fight left in me, right? Right? That is just so, so beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Well, I loved what you said about showing up because that's so much what I've realized over the years is, I mean, one of the biggest keys to success is showing up.
Oh, yes, for
You
sure.
know,
Even when you
show
don't
up.
feel like it, even it's like,
Right.
I just don't feel like I want to go to work. I just kind of like want to stay home and do nothing today, right? And then it's like,
Yeah.
okay, get a life. Okay, I got a life. It's over there. Oh crap, I gotta leave. Okay, let's go, right?
Yeah, we're gonna show up. We're gonna show
Yes.
up. Yeah, and then this other thing, and this is actually a long time ago. I found this little handwritten note that Tony Robbins had written to himself back in 1978, and I found it on the internet, and I printed it off, and I posted it above, on my desk, and it said, "My success in life will come from how much I can give, not how much I can take." And
Yes.
that has been one of my core values and driving forces in life, in how much can I give to other people, whether it's not just money, but it's just me. It's love. How much
Yes.
love can I give? How much empathy can I give? How much support and encouragement can I give to others? And it shows in my personal life, but also in my business, where and during this tragedy, and that's what you were saying earlier, was and how it's all coming back tenfold.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, 1,000 times fold, really. So, and even if people aren't nice to me, even if they have their do whatever,
Right.
but I
Yeah.
can choose who I am and how I am, and I
And
choose.
how you respond.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, because there's
yeah,
always
for
that
sure.
action and reaction, and it's how are we going to respond? Don't take it personal. You don't know what
Right.
just happened in their life, right? You
Yep.
don't take it personal. It's interesting that comment you said with Tony Robbins, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I hear that, and I'm familiar with it, but hearing that now and hearing your story about your great
Mm-hmm.
grandparents, like they were living that statement before it was even made,
Yep, absolutely.
right? So it's like, Tony, did you steal that from them guys? You know?
Right. They were living that statement before it was
Yeah.
up. And my family is my great grandparents immigrated from Japan in the early 1900s, and then so during World War II, they were even though Alaska wasn't a state yet, my entire family, as well as the other Japanese families that were living in Ketchikan, were forcefully removed from their homes and
Right.
sent to internment camps because they were of Japanese heritage during World War
Exactly.
II.
Yeah.
And right after Pearl Harbor, very shortly after Pearl Harbor. And the amazing thing about that is, so my family was gone for several years, and thankfully, they owned the property, the building that their store was in. And even back then, during the 1940s, the community, their customers stepped up, and people actually moved into the building and took care of it when my family was gone.
Oh,
They even
wow.
opened up a little tiny shop and sold snacks out of it. And then when my family came back, they welcomed them back.
Oh, oh, I got chills all over my body just listening to that. And that really shows the appreciation of the community, the importance of a community. Just because you're
Yep.
of a certain nationality doesn't mean that you have to carry the burden,
Right.
of whatever transpired in that, right? So I mean, we look at that today, because there are so many different cultures and everything. And I've heard
Hmm.
stories, similar to that, when I was in the automotive industry back in the '80s, and I had clients that were of Japanese descent, and
Uh-huh.
they shared some of those stories where their grandparents, had been, taken from
Yeah.
their livelihood and parked in an arena until
Right.
the war was over, and then trying to pick up the pieces again. So it gives us time to really think about what's going on and who are we. We're all human, right?
Hmm.
Our nationality, our customs, our beliefs, our colors don't matter, because inside we're all from the same
Right.
base, right?
Right.
We're all
Absolutely.
connected. And that's one of the things that I really wanted to emphasize in doing this show, is to be able to have people come from all over the world, whatever that culture is, to share stories as beautiful as yours, and so unique, and what that actually means, being that better you every day. What can you do every day to become that better you, and just showing up and performing and doing what you've chose to do to keep this 104-year legacy, doing
Right.
exactly what it was back then. And I'll tell you what you've done, Katherine, is you have definitely made your great grandparents proud of you. And you keep up the great work, because you know what? They're an inspiration, and so are you. And that energy is shining down. They're just up there, just as happy as can be, right? It's like, good thing she's in this technical world, because I don't understand.
Right.
you know, and
Absolutely.
and this is something that you can pass on. I'm not sure if you have children yet, or if
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah, I do have 3.
okay. And what are their ages?
I have a 15-year-old, a 13 and a half, and a 12-year-old.
Wow, what a great lesson
Yeah.
to teach them in showing up, being consistent, and not letting anything take you down. You used the word landslide twice today, right?
Mhm.
She says in the beginning there was this landslide of mud, right?
It was rocks. It was
Roxy.
rocks. It was a mountain. It was basically like a mountainside fell on the building.
Whoa.
Yeah,
So
it's
here's this
ridiculous.
landslide of rocks, right?
Yeah.
And then it's you used it again as a landslide, but two distinctly different instances. One, that landslide was a disaster. However, she turned it into this beautiful success story. So when she used landslide at the second time, it was the outcome of the recovery and coming out even stronger
Right.
than when she came into it. And
Right.
that is a lesson that each and every one of us can learn to do. So when you have a pile of rocks fall on top of you, throw them off. Come back
Right.
out and say, you can't keep me down, right?
That's
And
right.
be consistent in yourself. Really, really get inside and say, what am I made of? What am I made of? Right? And where am I going to
Mhm.
go? I'm
Yeah.
not going to let this tear me down. And
Yeah.
Katherine, you certainly did not. Even when your dad was in that state of, oh my God, it's over. It's
Right.
over, right? Because he didn't know where to go.
Right.
And so being an inspiration to him and showing him that, no, we can come out of this. And you did, little by little. And the community stepping up to the plate and having that support. And that's
Mhm.
something we can also learn, is to, where can we give support in our community? Where
Mhm.
can we give support, especially in this time of need now? Where can
Yeah.
we give support? So it's not
Absolutely.
always all about me. It really is
Yeah.
about them. It is about giving. There was another, I think it was Zig Ziglar that said this, but don't quote me for sure. But it was, if you give enough people what they want, you get what you want, right?
Yeah.
And so all these quotes really mean something. And when
Yeah.
you can really get to the depth of the meaning of what that is one step to becoming a better you.
Mhm.
Right? A better you.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
being a better you is not being broken. You've never been broken. It's
No.
just building yourself up into that better you and that better you. And what better place to do it on this beautiful planet, right? It's like, whoa, look at the stars and the sky and the earth and the sun.
Yeah.
And now she's really cleaning up because of all the smog that's going away, all the pollution that's going away, right? right?
Yeah, I was reading that about Los Angeles and how, there's
Yeah.
no more smog.
Oh, I'll tell you, I lived in Las Vegas, right? We didn't only get the smog from Las Vegas. We got a lot, or excuse me, from Los Angeles. We got a lot of overspill of people. So Las Vegas
Yes.
started to be known as Little LA, right?
Oh, goodness.
But
Yeah.
now, it's cleaned up. And I've seen pictures, not only of LA, and what they've seen, but, even over in the Himalayas, where all of a sudden cities that really haven't seen the whole mountain range of the Himalayas now are seeing it. The oceans that are cleaning up, it's fantastic. That's something too that we can learn, but now it's given us a time too, not only being aware of what's getting cleaned up out here, but what can we clean up in here,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Right?
And just being forced to break whatever routines that we had,
Oh,
to break
wow.
those habits that we had where we maybe kept ourselves so busy and we had so much that
Yeah.
we had to do all the time and it was so important and we didn't have time to really do the things that were important to take care of us inside. And
Right.
so this is forcing us to do that. It's forcing us to stop.
It is.
And the beautiful thing is, like, we get to choose who we are as we go through this process. We get to choose what we keep and we get to choose what we don't,
Exactly.
you
Exactly.
know?
And to
Yeah.
know the difference, to really know the difference of the truth of who you are. Where is that true identity? And
Right.
what put me in the line of work that I'm in as an identity revelation coach, right, is
Mhm.
because I had lost my identity. I was
Mm.
identified as being so and so's mom, so and so's wife, the one who wrote for the newspaper. This we lose the identity of the person by giving them an identity of association of what they do,
Right.
rather than recognizing the essence of who that person is.
Yeah.
So if we don't recognize that in ourselves, what is the expression that we're giving outwardly, right? Are you being the you true to yourself? Or are you being the you that you think everyone else out here wants you to be?
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which you are you, and how many different yous do you have? I'm going to share this story. I've shared it on numerous shows and stuff, but I think it's prevalent right now, because of what we're talking about in
Mhm.
finding that you and doing something. I mean, probably before this ever happened, whether your landslide of the rock pile coming down and then the event of the COVID, in your wildest dreams, you never could have found this piece of you,
Right.
right? That you gave the opportunity to say, okay, what do I do? And
Right.
boom, there she shows up, right? So when you are a certain Catherine, when you come into work, when you're in that grocery store, you play this role of this certain Catherine, right? Well, so now
Mhm.
you go home to your family and you play that Catherine, right? Well,
Mhm.
now you go to your siblings and your parents and you play that Catherine. And now you go on vacation where nobody knows you and you play that
Right.
Catherine, right? And then you go into some networking groups or whatever and you play that Catherine. So now you got
Yeah.
5 personalities, right? And they're all great, or so you think they are.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, in the mail comes this little invitation that says, Catherine, you have been invited to a party. We want to celebrate you. Oh my gosh, how nice, right? So she goes to where the meeting is, where the party's going to be, and she knocks on the door. And somebody opens the door and says, Catherine, it's so nice to see you. Please come on in. She comes in, she's thinking, well, I'm going to get honored here, right? And all of a sudden, she's looking around. And she sees people from every single one of these aspects. 5 different yous.
Mhm.
Who are you going to be when you get there?
Mhm.
Who are you going to be? Because you can't be this person over here, this person over here, this person, right? Oh my
Right.
gosh, right?
Right.
This is food for thought. Because what happens is all of a sudden you swallow hard, you get instantly sick, and you say, I really haven't been feeling good lately. And I just, all of a sudden something just hit me. It's like, I don't want to expose any of you, and boom, you beat it out of there, right? So it's finding that true identity and being that
Mm-hmm.
expression of just who you are. It doesn't matter what other people think of you. It
Right.
matters what you
Absolutely.
think of you. And that's a part of being that best you that you can be every single day. So when you walk
Mm-hmm.
into a party like that, you can be honored and celebrated as you,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a wonderful story and a great illustration to show how we adapt ourselves
Yes.
to fit different circumstances and the people that we're around. And I know for sure that I have done that in different ways. And, oh, well, I am, oh, I'm at the store and I have to be the boss, or now I'm with my kids, or, I'm on these different boards and I have to be this certain way.
Right.
And now I'm at a place where like I know who I am. I know who I am. I know what my strengths are. I know where I like to work and live and what I want
Right.
to do with my time and what I don't want to do with my time. But all of that took actually like doing and putting myself out there and then discovering like, oh, you know, I really like how I am over here. I don't like this, or I don't like this work. So you know what? I'm not going to do that anymore. And I'm not
Right.
going to be there anymore.
Right.
And and then, and I want to be a person of integrity. And so I'm going to show up and integrity and authenticity. And I want to be, and so I'm going to show up everywhere and I'm just going to be me.
Me. Exactly. Exactly. Sometimes you've got to recognize those really not yous to get
Hmm.
back into the really yous,
Yeah.
right? And we're reflections. We are reflections of one another. So if there's
Hmm.
something that you see in someone that just kind of irritates you, right?
Right.
And you question it, right? Step out of it and say, is that a part of me that I'm reflecting that
Hmm.
is in conflict with myself? It's
Yep.
really not them, it's really me.
Right.
That takes a lot to step up to that plate.
It absolutely does.
It
It
does.
absolutely does.
It
Yeah. It
does.
takes a lot of self-awareness,
Yeah.
and also a willingness to say, hey, there are some dirty bits about me, you know?
There is a little bit of cleaning up here, a few rocks to throw
Yeah,
away, right?
yeah, absolutely. Or, a giant pile of mud
There, yeah,
hiding underneath all
something
of
like
this.
that. It's like,
You
why do I
know?
feel like I have cement boots on?
Right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah.
And again, I think a lot of it, it's not so much, changing that as it is to the question now is how are other people going to respond to me? Are they going to reject me? Are they going to not
Hmm.
like me? Are they going to make fun of me? Are they going to, right? And sometimes
Right.
that's the greatest hurdle to get over because you've made that
Absolutely.
changes. But you know what?
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter what other people think of you. It matters what you think of you. And if
Amen.
people are that way and they're in that control and manipulation, it's because they don't want to have to clean up themselves. If you're
Yep.
cleaning up you, oh, heaven forbid, right?
Yep.
But there's
Yep.
millions of people in the world.
Millions of
You
people.
aren't gonna be friends to all of them.
Uh-uh.
So you
Uh-uh.
might as well be friends to you first,
Yep. Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I love, that's such an important thing for us to understand, you know?
Yeah.
And I spent a long time fearing the rejection and the judgment of other people, and because I grew up with that as pretty prominent in my life, especially as a young child and getting older, and then coming to that place where I'm it's it's a reflection of them. It's not a reflection of me.
Right.
And I'm
Exactly.
going to go out and I'm going to be me. And then as I've grown over the last few years and I've really tried to just expand myself. I love my family history and I love all of that, but I also had dreams of my own and I wanted to
Right.
grow and I wanted to do more than what I was doing. And as I started to, expand myself, there were people who had been really close to me who got really angry with me
Oh yes, I'm sure they did
because I
because
was
you're.
be
Upsetting the
because
apple
I
cart.
was doing that. Yeah, I really was. And all of a sudden they felt threatened. All of a sudden
Yeah.
I made them uncomfortable, and then they started to have insecurities of their own, and none of that was me. It wasn't my fault. It was whatever was going on inside of them.
Right.
But it was hard. To say it wasn't hard, I can't say it wasn't hard, but it's just what happens,
Right.
you know? But I know, like, if you know that you're on the right path, if you know who you want to be and that you're going the right direction, you can't let that stuff stop you.
No, no, you can't, because regardless of what you think you can deal with it, you think you can handle that and pretend to be something that you're not. The inner conflict is going to catch up with you sooner or later, and then you begin
Absolutely.
resenting other
Mm-hmm.
people. And that
Yeah.
resentment is not healthy, because you want to be an expression of it. Well, you can't be an expression of it, otherwise they're going to, because
Yeah.
then it really makes a conflict. But it happens in here, and it takes your own personal health down. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And your own personal mindset, that whole thought processing thing. So it's okay. You are going to upset apple carts,
Yep.
because that means people have to look at themselves, and they don't like to. They don't
Yep.
want to change. But don't let someone else stand in the way of your progress and your success. Now, that's not
Absolutely.
saying step over them, kick them while they're down, and throw them to the curb. No.
Yeah.
That's
No.
not what this is all about. This is all
Mm-mm.
about being that expression of you, and understanding you to be who you are. And how can I serve you along the way? Yeah, you can come and join me on the journey, right? But I'm not going to journey stagnation back there. I'm
Yep.
going this way. And if you choose to remove me from your life, I honor that. And thank you
Yeah.
for honoring me, right?
Absolutely.
And that
Yeah.
that is kind of hard sometimes, to honor someone else's actions or beliefs because they go against yours. Don't throw and force other people's beliefs on, yours on them, because they're going to try to force it on you. And I think that's where a lot of the conflict happens, because we don't honor each other's choices,
Mm-hmm. Right.
right?
You should be more like me. Why don't you think like me? Why aren't you acting like me? But, no one else is
Because I'm
me.
not you.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
already taken,
Yeah.
right?
Right, exactly. And that's what happens though, is a lot of people, and my experience has been that, we often expect other people to behave and to think like we do.
Yes.
And then, but once we recognize that that's not possible, and we allow them to be them, and maybe they need to be them as far away from you as possible,
And that's
and
okay.
that's okay. But you release them with love, and you say, I want nothing but the best from you, but I'm going this way.
Yeah.
you know
Maybe I'll
yeah.
see you down the road somewhere, right?
Right, exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
It's interesting how people cross your path. And I travel a lot. I've been on the road since '97, right?
Uh-huh.
So I'm always going somewhere. And it's interesting at different segments of my life where people, just kind of whatever, and all of a sudden it's come full circle, and they're back in my life. And
Right.
they're back in a different manner. And I have heard this so much here recently over the last 3-4 months, when all of a sudden they're
Mm-hmm.
back in my life, and they say, remember way back when you said something like this? And I said, yeah. Oh my God, I should have listened to you then.
Right.
Right? It's like all of a sudden all this stuff is coming into my life, and it's like, you knew that way back then. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, you know? And so, but again, it's all in the timing. We
Absolutely.
all are on a journey, and it's to honor each other's journey, support each other in that journey as we let them go,
Mm-hmm.
right? And like you say, let them go in love.
Yep.
I wish you nothing but the best. If there's anything ever that I can do, reach out. You know where to find me.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that goes into, the energy that you give out, you give back, even as you're releasing people from your life,
Oh,
you know?
sometimes that's the most powerful energy, is to release.
Yeah.
And that's removing toxicity.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you release someone, in your life, when you don't normally recognize it right away, but as time goes on, you start recognizing the anger that left with them, maybe the frustration, maybe the betrayals, maybe, whatever, all these different things. And it's like, wow, I just feel so much lighter. This is awesome.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then to be able to look into yourself and say, where can I forgive myself? Where are the pieces of me that really aren't me that I need to like let go? And oh, by the way, as you're on the way out, take this crap with you because I don't want it either.
I don't want
That
it.
doesn't serve me any purpose. So take it with you, please.
Take it back. Right.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, wow. Gosh, this could just like go on forever. And
I think so.
I love hearing your stories. You know,
Thank you.
you guys out there, you know, comment below. What did you experience listening to Katherine today? Share her story and where it went from her great grandparents and where they started, and look at the obstacles that were in their way. But what happened as a community, again, coming together back then when they were going to lose everything just because of their nationality.
Yep.
Right? And not knowing what they were going to come back to.
Yep.
And then seeing what happened to walk back into that and say, hey, we saved this for you. It's all yours now, right? Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm just trying to picture the look on your great-grandparents' face and how they must have felt to have a community do that for them. But that would never happen had not they given to the community first.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And that's the lesson. Never be afraid to give too much. But don't get in that use and abuse situation. Know the difference.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Know the difference.
Healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries.
Right.
We support people, but we have healthy boundaries.
And it was all done unconditionally. You know,
right.
What your great grandparents did unconditionally to help those that they saw in need.
Yeah.
Right? When they were in that same situation, the community bound together to say, hey, they were there for us. We have to be there for them. And they were unconditionally. Right. And I think that's a word that has kind of gone by the wayside because we've always, you know, we put conditions on. Well, I'll do this if you do that. I'll do this if you do that. You know, so just look at the space that was given to you. Hey, we have a space here. We're not going to charge you because we know you're a vital necessity to the community.
Yep.
So we are just going to offer this to you till you can get back on your feet unconditionally. We're not going to say, well, you do this for 2 months and then you have to start paying. No. To help you get back to where you need to be.
Right.
Right? And that's what it's all about. People, helping people unconditionally in that support. And that is something we need so much more in this lifetime. And hopefully coming out of this little shift, shall we say? You know,
it's a shift. It's definitely a big shift.
It's not going to be closely related to what's in our rear view mirror anymore.
Right, exactly.
Life as we knew it is no longer and will never be again. Right? So what are we going to take forward out of this? So this is an opportunity to really get back into the roots and the basis of what everything is in that community, whether it's a community at home, at work, or at play, or even with yourself, right?
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what's one big tip you could give our audience today?
Oh, gosh, a tip on, well, there's so many tips.
Well, give us one and then we'll say the rest of them for another show. How's that?
Yeah, right. Absolutely. You know, I think that really for people who are wanting to like really be their best selves and live their best life, it's how you show up in the little moments in life that count. It's the consistency over the long term with no matter what you're trying to do that really has the biggest impact, you know? And so when we show up and we have a positive attitude and we believe that we believe in who we are and where we're going and what we're doing, and we show up and we're consistent with that, the long-term effects of it over time are going to compound, and you're going to end up where you want to be.
That is so beautiful. Yeah, I just knew you were gonna say that. I just knew you were gonna say something about showing up, right? And
Yeah.
how you worded that was so beautiful because it is so true. It is how you show up. How do we
Hmm.
show up as our true self?
Yeah.
And when you're consistent, as you said, when you're consistent with that,
Yeah.
it will impact you in return more than you could ever imagine at the least expected time of your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think the other thing too, it's really important for us to recognize is that when we've talked a lot about this is about, loving others and assisting others and adding value to other people, because every single one of us on the face of the planet hurts. We've all experienced suffering, and we don't know anybody's story, but if we can be the light in somebody's world, whether if it's just a smile or it's a hello or
Yeah,
just helping somebody in an instant, that might really impact their lives. That'll impact their lives in ways that you will never even
right,
know.
right.
So, yeah. So those two I think are super important.
That's and that's great, and it's just those little things. I had a friend of mine share with
Mhm.
me um, on a few shows back. It was like doing kindness for someone, right? And
Mhm.
he was leaving the store, and there was this elderly gentleman coming down the street, and he was moving very slow, right?
Mhm.
And he had his cane, right? And so what my friend did was stay there, and it took him, it was probably about 30 seconds, and 30
Uh-huh.
seconds when you're rating seems like an hour,
Hour. Yeah.
you know so he waited, and when the gentleman got there, he said, "This is your lucky day because you are special, and I wanted to do something special for you, so I am going to get this door for you and help you in." And this gentleman just lit up like,
Yeah.
someone actually stayed here, waited for me to help
Yeah.
me with this,
Absolutely.
right? Right?
Yep.
So, what act of kindness can you give forward? Might not be, person to person right now, right?
Right.
But there's so
Right.
much more that you can do, even virtually
Yeah.
these days.
Even well, it's really neat, even because Easter is we're tomorrow,
Yeah,
and
it's
just
tomorrow.
in it's tomorrow, yeah. And in my community, there's a whole, there's people who are banding together to do like a community wide Easter egg hunt by, like, drawing Easter eggs and posting them in their windows, and so families can do a drive by, and
Oh, how
drive through the
nice.
neighborhoods, and they can see, and they can just hunt for Easter eggs together, because we can't do it the traditional way. And then in where I live, there's even a shortage of eggs. They sell
Right.
out very fast. So people might not even be able to do, traditional egg hunts like they do. So I mean, just even a little, like something like that, where you're just doing something thoughtful and you're
Right.
putting some eggs
And
up
it
in
just
your
and it
windows,
brings that
you
community
know?
together. That is so awesome, and
Yeah,
the creativeness that's happening
I
in this
know.
is
Yeah.
phenomenal.
I know, it's amazing. It's so
Yeah,
it's so
yeah. I
incredible.
hear some of these
Yeah.
stories like this, and it's like, really? Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I
Absolutely.
know there's
Yeah.
been virtual weddings going on, virtual
Yeah.
birthday parties going on.
Yep.
Somebody did a drive by, so they're in the car, and the other ones are out there on their front porch, and blow
Yep.
out the cake,
Yeah.
things like
Yeah.
that.
It's
Yeah.
amazing. We had the teachers from one of the elementary schools did a car parade. So they all got in their cars at their houses, and then they did a car parade, and they drove through the neighborhoods and honked and waved to their students, so their students knew that they were still thinking about them, that they were
Right.
being connected. What our local radio station is doing, like a karaoke, like a community karaoke. So every night they're playing, this one song that they think that everybody knows.
Yeah.
That way people can just, like, then they're meeting in their neighborhoods, and they're parking their driveways
Right.
with their neighbors, and they're going out and they're singing it and they're sharing it. And it's, there's so much, I don't know, the power of the human spirit is pretty phenomenal.
It is, and it's times like this that really show that, and the technology to be able to
Yeah.
share it
Oh,
is
yes.
that's what's exciting.
I know. I know. It's
Yeah.
how I'm so thankful that that technology exists so that
Yes.
we can have all of these virtual interactions,
Yeah.
and we can see all that people are doing,
Right.
to really to make the best out of this really
Right.
challenging time.
And
Yeah.
that's all about being that best you. And
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I again, it was such an honor and a blessing to have you here, Catherine.
Thank you.
And we will definitely get you back. So guys, comment below. You know, let her
Yeah.
know how much you appreciated this beautiful message coming from the heart of someone who is living a legacy that is so inspiring. So,
Yeah.
thank you again
Thank
from
you.
Ketchikan, Alaska. Is it cold up
That's
there
right.
right
You got it.
now?
It's no, it's not too cold. It's not too cold. Too cold.
Well, you know what? When this is all over, I am going to be headed. I've been in every state of the union.
Uh-huh.
Every state, including Alaska and Hawaii.
Oh,
So
nice.
there's areas of Alaska I'd like to get back to. I'm coming up to see you, girl.
Yes, absolutely. Come on up. That'd be wonderful.
Maybe we can do a show up there, right?
Oh, yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be
Yeah,
great.
yeah. All right, everyone. We are going to call this a show, and I want to say Happy Easter to every one of you, whatever that means to you. I never quite understood the whole thing. I mean, I did pieces and parts, but it's like, how does it relate to the bunny laying eggs, the chicken doing whatever it does, and then we have a resurrection?
Right.
But I think right now we're in the mass middle of a super resurrection about to happen when we get to move out of quarantine. So let's
right.
focus on what are you doing to create resurrection to becoming a better you, right? So it's time to say you go out there and be that best you that you can be. Why? Because Catherine and I are going to go out and be the best we that we can be, right?
Absolutely.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining,
Bye, guys.
and we'll see you on the next show.